Hello and welcome to the Investing Success Show. I'm Brian Patton along with your co-host Adam Whitmire.
One and only.
Today's show is Investing for the Next Generation. Adam, hit it. Tell them what we're doing.
That's right. So Phillip, and we had Phillip on the show, and he talked a bit about his commercial real estate. And so what we like to do for this part of the show is we like to get a little bit more broader view into a more broad view about your success in life in general. In particular, the big focus on this is really passing on those successful principles, the things that we've learned in business to the next generation. And it could be our next generation, like our children, or it could be someone else's children or someone just younger trying to get into the business. And we want to pass on what's worked, what hasn't worked to the next generation so that we can have continual successful entrepreneurs, just growing and developing this wonderful society that we live in. So that being said, and I know you mentioned you have a couple kids. You have a son and a daughter, it sounds like.
I do.
And do they do anything in real estate at all? Or are they kind of doing their own, went their own way?
They went their own way.
How old are they, Phillip?
My daughter's 28.
Mm-hmm.
She's a clinical psychologist, PhD. And my son is 26, and he's a sales guy for a lumber company.
Excellent. Okay, so let me ask you this question, Phillip.
By the way, Phillip went to Auburn, but we won't hold that against him.
I
realized in the earlier
some
show
people
I
might
mentioned
hold that against him.
I mentioned University of Alabama and he didn't say War Eagle.
No.
What is wrong with you? You're losing your touch, man. It's been
Somebody
20 years.
on this show
You went to Auburn,
hold that
right?
against
Or are you just an
him.
Auburn fan?
I'm trying to be nice. I went to Auburn.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
So, Phillip, if you had one chance, and this was your last chance, to pass on information to your kids about what it meant to be successful, either in life or in business, or about, what were the finer points to that, what kind of advice would you give them today?
And no crying allowed.
It's okay, crying's loud. Brian cries all the time.
I just wetted off my youngest daughter 2 weeks ago. Ooh, I cried like a baby.
No,
I
that's
cried.
right.
Anyway, go ahead, Phillip.
We won't go into that.
work ethic. You got to work for it. Regardless of what anybody says, regardless of your advanced degrees, regardless of your charm, luck, at the end of the day, the guys that are successful have worked for it. There's some blind luck out there. You win the lottery, you marry the lottery pick. Those are some things that could also be helpful. But day in and day out, it's about your work ethic. It's about getting up and going to work and doing your job, whatever that job is.
Interesting. Now, if you think about that, and we're not really putting a dollar amount like how successful monetarily you are on your success, and there's something to just working and feeling good about what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work at everything. I've been married 30 years. That's
probably
work.
have to work at that.
That's work.
Doesn't come easy.
No,
I'm
you
sure it's
get up.
easy work, though, in case your wife's listening.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake, right?
Easier for me than her, I would imagine. No, but you have to work for what you got. And I think our generation is probably guilty of making it too easy for our kids. I hear constant complaints from everybody from my attorney to my accountant that millennials don't want to work. I don't think that's really the case. I think they want to work differently, and they're not prepared to take what we say as gospel, the way, frankly, I did from my father. It's just a different relationship. But at the end of the day, they still got to get up and go do the work.
When you're talking do the work, are you talking working 40-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, or just whatever it takes?
I'm talking about the work, whatever it is.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Do the millennials look at the work? You just said they look at it differently. Is it more, my influence from my parents were, go get you a good job with a company and work there 40 years and retire. Obviously, that doesn't really happen anymore. Nobody stays at a company hardly anymore for 40 years. So the millennials is that whole process changing about how they view work?
Yeah, I think that's how they view it is a very specific way to say it. They, first of all, I find them more efficient in doing things. certain things.
I agree with that.
Things that are harder for us, whether it's working in a Starbucks. I can no more go sit down and work in a Starbucks and write or do whatever I need to do than the man on the moon. But my daughter can do it all day long.
Because of the distractions for you?
She can, yeah. I mean, she can read a technical paper. She's a PhD. She can sit down and read that stuff with all this stuff going on. I can't do that because I closed the door to my office and worked from the time I was 21 years old.
So what do you feel like that you did really well with your kids?
I married my wife.
Okay, that's good.
That's important.
Yeah.
No, and not the marriage
So
part.
she did all the work. She did all the real work.
She did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I was we're 80s guys. Remember the Roadhouse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was the bouncer.
Gotcha.
She was there until it was time to not be nice. Then I got to come in, which was very easy for me because my kids were basically easy to get along with. But I credit her with most of that.
So she did a lot of heavy lifting. So let me ask
Maybe
you.
we should have had her on the show.
Seriously, I know. I should
You
have.
didn't do anything.
Next time
apparently.
we'll do a.
Much smarter, but way
Well,
less
you
entertaining.
showed up.
Way less entertaining than I am.
You definitely showed up. So that helps, and you stayed. So what are some of the things that maybe you feel like that you could have done a little bit differently, or that you would have done differently looking back?
That
Using
you screwed
hindsight?
up on. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm in a nicer way.
Okay, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, I'm usually honest with you
Okay.
because I know how that,
What would I have done?
in hindsight. What would you or could you done differently that would be good advice that someone else would want to hear?
I think I overreacted to some things. Not sure I waited to see exactly how all the things how it all came together. And I think I inadvertently put pressure on both my kids, my daughter academically, my son athletically. To me, I was joking around about, she got a 99 on a test. Well, why didn't you get the extra credit? I was so far from a 99 that the joke made sense to me. But to her, she took, well, I guess Dad thought I should have gotten the extra credit.
Oh,
Well, there
wow.
wasn't any extra credit offered. That was usually the answer.
Maybe she's
Yeah.
overcompensating now with that doctorate degree. Have you asked her?
I think she's trying to understand, be able to diagnose me, maybe.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my son sometimes about baseball and his sports. To me, it was all fun. I never took it that seriously, but I made a lot of jokes about it that were entertaining to me, but almost nobody else.
Yeah, that's right. You just entertained yourself.
It sounds like our radio show, our
Okay,
podcast. I make a lot
We
of
just-
jokes.
yeah,
Nobody
that's
else
right.
laughs.
Nobody
Are you people
laughs.
laughing out there?
You laugh.
I do laugh at
you
my own
laugh all the
jokes.
time.
You have no idea how funny I am to myself.
So
So if
I think
Cricket.
that's it.
if you were doing it differently would be that maybe it sounds like you would just maybe interacted differently, maybe taking sarcasm out of the conversation, or had different types of or basically not put as much pressure on them academically, athletically.
I think
If that
pay closer attention to what you're really saying.
gotcha.
That's I think that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
And
that's good advice.
pay closer attention, because just because you think it's funny, or it would be funny to one of your friends,
Yeah, that's
doesn't
right.
mean that the kids are always getting it. Now, I say that, and then I hear them making some of the same jokes now
That's
that
right.
they're kind
Passing
of
it
out
on.
and about. So perhaps the damage is already done. But my grandson, man, I'm going to do it different with him.
You have a grandson?
I do.
How old are you?
55.
Oh, wow. That's young for
Yeah,
granddaddy
you are. You're
status.
very young. So what's your
Congratulations.
strategy going to be with your grandson?
Pretty much to do everything fun with him I want to, and then take him home.
That you know what that works. It
Spoiled
sounds like
rotten.
the typical grandparent.
Yeah.
But they say that's the benefit of having kids is having grandkids.
Yep.
That's
And
what
you should know you got 26 kids.
I do. No, 25. Actually,
No,
you
only
know,
6.
only
I kid
6.
you about that every other show. Phillip, we appreciate you being on the show today. Some great insight from Phillip about working hard and paying close attention to what we say with our kids. And we've got Darin Frick and Connor Frick, father-son duo team. Darin's the oldest one there. Wave your hand there.
That's right. Yeah.
And Darin owns Promise engineering.
Yeah.
Promise Incorporated is a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineering company with a business partner. And Connor works for him. So we want to have these guys on today and talk about that father-son dynamic.
Sure.
And
So
Darin,
you're directly, trying to share information
and
and pass it on.
it's
Right.
a great way to sort of
Yeah.
talk about investing for the next generation. How you teach. I know you got another son, Garrett, who's 17 now, 16,
17
years old. So how are you teaching these guys about being a business success over the years, and while Connor's working with you, what are you trying to instill in them?
Well, the very first thing that I would want to instill in my kids, and I'm very thankful that Connor's picked it up quick, is a work ethic. Is basically to be self-motivated to get up in the morning without somebody saying it's time to get up and get out of bed and go to work. And so if I could consider myself a success at anything, it would be is that when my kids hit the workforce, that whoever they're working for, right now Connor's working with us and he's doing a great job, but whoever he would end up working for or whoever Garrett would work for would be, it would never be said of those boys that they're not self-motivated and develop that level of a work ethic and hopefully positive or negative difference between work ethic and workaholic. I'd rather a good work ethic, but
not a workaholic.
But not a workaholic. A good blend.
How do you define that? How many hours a week?
Because we did talk about being on the laptop on the way to Disney World.
Yeah,
and being on a
talked about
laptop when you're
vacation.
supposed to be camping,
Yeah,
which I've experienced myself because we camped some together.
And
And
I
a
do-
couple other guys.
And I do the same thing. I work a lot. I don't consider myself a workaholic.
Well, sometimes when you love it, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
So, how many hours do you think you spend, or you can say in front of the camera?
I would say it's probably somewhere between 35 and 55.
Okay, it's not too bad. So you're on the laptop when you're supposed to be camping.
and you know that
I don't get
actually
that then. How you-
so let me ask you, let me
Maybe it's
I can-
because
I
I'm
think
trying to
you're
get
lo-
away from you.
yeah, that's what it is. And then sometimes, Brian, let me tell you the benefit. And because I started my business was I wanted it to be anywhere, anytime. I wanted to be able to run my business on my phone or a tablet or laptop and make it simple. And I have. So the benefit of that is I can do business from anywhere. The con of that is
you
that
have
you
to
do
do business
business
from
anywhere.
Right.
In
I
other
was
words,
thinking
when
about
you're
that
on
this morning.
vacation, camping, anywhere.
Right.
So you can do business at any
The
any
cell
time.
phone has been so great for business, but it's also been bad. I mean, it allows me to walk around my little farm and work, while I'm feeding the chickens or whatever.
Yeah.
But it also allows me to work when I'm at the beach when I'm supposed to be on vacation. So that's a hard
'cause you
thing.
answer the phone.
That's a hard thing to juggle.
I would actually prefer to work from the beach, frankly.
Well, yeah, but not if you're supposed to be on vacation and not.
no, then you can't.
Yeah, but I guess
You
I can
just
answer
gotta
it this
shut it
way,
down.
though. If I had a regular 9 to 5,
Mm.
I wouldn't have been on the road to Disney in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's really
Probably
important. That's an
during the
important
week.
piece, right? Connor's senior year of high school, we knew that, hey, you know what? We got 1 year left, and he's off to Georgia and wherever else to do work. And so we ended up getting a season pass to Disney that year, and we went down multiple times. So it wasn't like I was working on the laptop on the 1 or 2 weeks a year that I took off of work and quote unquote was taken off
Right.
work. We went down there
because
almost-
you could do work
because I
from your
could work
laptop.
from
That's
the
a good
laptop.
point. Yeah,
we
yeah.
went down there almost once every 2 months
Yeah, that's a good point.
during that year, and so I might get up in the morning at 6, work on a job, send the email out, pack up the computer at 10, and we were at Epcot by 11:30 for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So the family put up with me to work early in the morning, but I was still there.
So let me ask you this: what's the one thing that you feel like that you did really well to be successful in your business or in your life?
Oh man, with my son sitting next to me, I feel like I'm on the spot, but
You are.
And there's
Sorry,
millions of
he
people
is.
listening too, so
I-
no
honestly-
pressure.
honestly, I think starting my own business was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Starting your own business.
Starting my own business, because in that case, I was actually able to be there for the boys a lot more than if I was, let's say I had a job in downtown Atlanta and I commuted every day. I couldn't have been to every baseball game or to every football game or to every marching band competition that Garrett's in. If I didn't start my business, I would not have had that availability like I had from starting it. And I think that was I feel like it was a great decision to do.
Connor, tell us how horrible is it to work for your dad? I know it's got to be bad. It's
No,
probably a tough thing.
it's been great actually, and it's funny because we will talk shop on vacation, or we will be working and talking for a long time about what we're working on, and then immediately shift over to what's your dinner plans tonight.
You don't wear glasses, so you can't go like Darin does, right? Push your glasses up.
No.
Well,
Like an engineer nerd.
Yesterday, Connor called me at 4:00 in the afternoon to talk about a project, and by 5:30 he met me at the dock, and we were out in the boat.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about business on the boat, did you?
We're not opposed to
But
it.
here's
but-
the thing: is you
You
can.
could probably write it off, right? Write the boat off.
Oh, sure.
So Connor, and it sounds like, and you've got your own goals and your own objectives, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that you've learned a lot from your father, and you've learned from people around you. And what's the objective that what are you trying to accomplish in all this?
Well, I'm looking at my future, and I'm wanting to develop a strong financial base. I want to develop a strong educational base. So what I'm wanting to do is eventually go into ministry personally is my goal. And so right now I'm working and allowing my wife to accomplish her dreams of finishing school and going and becoming a speech therapist. But the thing is pastors and ministers don't make a lot of money, and a lot of them don't get retirement. And financial literacy in ministry isn't quite there a lot of the time. So right now I'm in a position where I am building my pre-tax and post-tax dollars, getting the most going for me there as far as investing goes, but also learning to work with people and learning how to drive relationships and how to balance work and life. And so my time here with Promise has been able to help me achieve those goals eventually.
Tell us, there's been a lot of talk about millennials and whether
They like to work.
whether they like to work, and what is your I guess you're a millennial, or maybe you're
I'm on the tail end.
are you an X generation Xer orYer? I forget, but anyway,
Yeah.
What's your cohorts out there? What do you see from a work ethic? Or is it what we're hearing from other folks, or is it better or worse? Or
Well, I think that my generation is very polarized on
well,
where
you're
on where they are.
26 years old.
I'm 23.
23. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Younger than I
yeah.
thought. Okay.
Yeah. I see two different sides of the spectrum and very few in between, which is quite interesting. As far as work ethic, there are people who are on the entitled side of things and on the check mark side of things of I'm told I need to do this, so I'm going to check that mark off. But then on the other side is an extremely entrepreneurial spirit among my generation. There are so many businesses being created, so many niches being filled, and so many industries being developed. And it's really fascinating to me. But it's weird how
So
it's
sort of
just
extremes. of it.
very extreme, very extreme.
Huh. Interesting.
That is an interesting concept. And so, to hear the different point of views, and so you guys get to work together, get to learn from each other. And so one other question I have that I want to make sure we get out there, this is for your dad, and if you look at your business, and not just your business, but your life in general, if you look back, if there's anything that you would have done exactly the same, or you would have definitely done differently, what would that be?
Well, I think we mentioned exactly the same. I would have started a business. I wouldn't have changed that. But there's some ways of the way of in starting the business that I think in some cases I might have been too nice. And sometimes to clients and within the business, I guess that's a double-edged sword.
What do you mean too nice? Expound on that a little bit. You bend over backwards for clients and you shouldn't have?
or maybe even with people that you're working with. And I think that part of it is if something's not getting done the way you want it, instead of making sure somebody gets it and does it the way you want it, you pull it back and you do it yourself. And making sure that you follow through with the folks that are working with you, that instead of taking it back and doing it yourself because you could quote unquote do it better, bring somebody along and get them up to speed to where they're actually doing it the way you want them to do it. I think I could do better at doing it that.
So you're talking
that
about
way.
coaching other people.
You know what? That's probably a good way to
Yeah.
saying it. I could be a better coach in
employees.
that case. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense because now you're getting it done and you're taking that extra time to train them on getting it done right,
Right.
the way you want it. No, that's great. That's been very helpful.
Well, good stuff. I appreciate you guys joining us today. The
Sure.
father-son duo, at least for a little while, till Connor finds him a ministry job. So, with Promise, tell us how to reach them, how to reach you if they need to.
Probably the easiest way is to go to our website, which is promus.us, promus.us.
And appreciate you guys being on the show today. I think we learned from you guys that entrepreneurship, starting a business, is the way to go. At least for your family, it was a great opportunity and worked out well for you.
And apparently it's still alive in millennials.
Exactly,
And-
still alive in millennials, according to Connor. So that's good news for America.
For our show too.
That's exactly right. This has been an Investing Success Show with Brian Patton, my co-host Adam Whitmire. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.